And I'm really sorry about bringing this news to you because it's just, we want to bring you good stuff occasionally. But this just is not getting better. Bleak news about the U.S. economy. It just keeps piling up. Inflation is at a 3-year high. Paychecks are shrinking. And the war in Iran is costing Americans from the gas pump to the grocery store. But here's what you know who said when he was asked about it yesterday. Take a look.
To what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
And he's a billionaire. He's obviously doesn't give a damn about Americans. He doesn't care about working class people, whether they voted for him or not.
I don't see how he has time to think about the financial prospects of the American working class when he's spending all of his time thinking about how to enrich himself.
President Trump's been president for a year and a half now, so it's his economy, even though he inherited a bad one from the Biden administration with respect to rising prices and inflation.
I wish y'all would stop that. You know, this is his economy.
Really?
Sure is.
This is his economy. And let's quit it. I mean, you wanted Joe Biden gone, he's gone. Now, grow a pair. This is your economy.
Well, and the inflation is at a 3-time high. It's worse than when, 3-year high. The consumer price index rose 3.8% in the last 12 months. So he ran on the backs of people that were told, I'm gonna make life more affordable, I'm gonna help you. And they came out in droves. And this is what he does to thank him. The truest thing he may have said ever in his life, I've never heard him be so honest. I literally don't think about the American
now
people.
He's at the point in his mental disorders that he is now speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? And what's really depressing is, because I always liked Bill Clinton. I thought we went from I feel your pain to so what, who cares?
Yeah.
That's basically what this guy is saying to the American people and to his own cult who voted for him based on that fact that he was going to fix the prices, he was going to fix the incomes, he was going to fix the inflation.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he's done nothing. And by the way, he hasn't done much in Iran either. I mean, they're at the same place they were before he started this. So shut up and stop lying.
Well, I think that's what's most disconcerting, because he was asked that question about the Iranian talks, right? About a ceasefire. And the New York Times just reported, I think yesterday, that Iran actually has retained 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile and 30 of its 33 missile sites along the Strait of Hormuz. We get into this illegal, unconstitutional war by choice, by the president's choice, and we have not obliterated their nuclear capability at all, and it's cost us $29 billion. And when I say us, I mean U.S. taxpayers, us. For nothing.
Well, and the thing is,
people have died.
The context he's talking in is about Iran not having a nuclear weapon, and we can all agree that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. But you have to, as president, be able to hold multiple thoughts at once. And more Americans are impacted by their economic situation, their inability to, make summer plans because of gas prices, because of food prices. You have to put that first. That feels more urgent to most Americans than Iran's nuclear capabilities. But I want to say, with Trump, he can say things that any other politician, it would tank their career. I could just picture the ads if anyone else said this. And people kind of chalk it up to he just spouts off and says things and they let it go. So my caution to Democrats is, sure, put it in an ad, but you guys cannot just run against Donald Trump. You have to run on, this is our agenda for the American people. This is how we're going to do it.
This is what we're going to do.
In previous economies, when Democrats
because the economy is changing, we need better. We need new ideas.
We did not have a deficit. We had a surplus.
Bill Clinton actually balanced the budget.
But that was 35 years ago, guys. The economy is massively changing.
Here's what I'm going to put in here. Some things that he didn't seem to care about. He didn't care about Americans' health care when he left the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. He didn't care about American safety when he delayed payment to TSA agents over 40 days. He didn't care about his own supporters' pleas for no more wars when he went into Iran. And now he doesn't care that Americans can't afford to feed their families. Listen, nobody wants anybody to have nuclear weapons. I wish none of them had them. But everybody seems to have one. Everybody's got a nuclear weapon. Fortunately for us, no one has pressed the button.
Well, we did.
Well, we
We did
pressed the
once.
button once.
Once.
And
We're the only
learned.
country that has
We're
ever
the
used a
only
nuclear
country that's
weapon.
ever used it.
Because nuclear deterrence actually does work. by the way.
Well, and so this idea, you know, stop messing with people and trying to drive people and force them to believe as you believe and do what you want them to do. This idea of saying, listen, we want to do this peacefully. That's why I get freaked out by Pete Hegseth.
But this
Well,
idea.
and one important thing is that, like you said, no one wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
No one
but
wants anybody to
maybe
have
we
it.
don't do the ballroom and the reflecting pool right now.
Right, I
Like
just-
maybe we equal out and not make millions in the redecorating process while also the
My
war.
only point is that the status quo isn't working for Americans with Trump in the picture, but you cannot make Trump the only thing
Yes.
that's wrong in this
I agree with
nation.
that.
We need leaders with some vision
but you know,
for
this
how
is
to
the
actually
thing.
address the future.
We had some suggestions for people who had ideas to be different, to do it differently, and people did not want it at the time. That's why he got in a second time.
Right.
He got in with no ideas.
Concept
Okay.
of a plan.
Concept of a plan. So, you know, if you want more of this, you know what to do. If you don't like this, you got to get out and make sure they don't wear you down. Get out and vote.